Okay, my name is Thomas, and I teach at One Paw Elementary, and I'm going to just reflect on some things that I've encountered while here in Taiwan. Now, I am a monolinguist, so if right in the middle I forget what I'm doing, then my executive control center is on IV. Needs a jump start. Okay, so collective thoughts, just some things I want to share. I'm not here to try to change how education system is run here in Taiwan. I'm just going to throw some things out there and talk about it. That's all I want to do. Okay, thank you. Okay, so initially I was thinking, God, everyone in the U.S. was telling me, you're going where? Taiwan? That's on China, right? That's in China. I'm like, no. Yeah, they're like, oh, you're going to Thailand? No, Taiwan. Why are you going to Taiwan? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. No, actually, I was like, okay, no, I'm going there because I'm tired of being an American. I mean, for so many years, I'm like, okay, I need something new, Let me try something. So there was an opportunity, and I saw that. I'm like, okay, let me learn a different culture. This will be great. And I'm flexible like that. I can do things like that. And also, it's for my profession. If I can come to Taiwan and teach students who don't know my language the content that I want them to learn, oh my God, I have to be a better teacher. In some ways, I have to go back home if I continue to be a teacher there. I have to improve. There's got to be improvement somewhere. I don't know how, but that's got to make me a better teacher, and that's good. So, these are things that was coming to mind. And also, this goes back to me being in the U.S. all my life. I just wanted to get away. Oh, my God. Make new friends, besides being in Texas and the other states. How many are there? I don't know. Okay, but then there were some bad things. Oh my God, do I want to leave my family? That's hard. My family said no. I'm like, yeah. My friend said, wow, Taiwan, good luck. Have a good time. Come back. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I will. And then I have to give up my love, my passion, which is a sport. It's called American football. It's not soccer. It doesn't involve a round ball that you kick. It's an oval, oblong, leather brown ball that you throw around and catch. Anyway, so I had to give up football, both collegiate and professionally, and that was tough on me. It really is. Being here in Taiwan, it was tough, but I'm here to teach, so that's okay. And I had to give up music concerts. No Journey, no REO, no Styx, Van Halen. Oh my God, dude. I see about 10 of those every year. That's something I do. In the U.S., I love live music. Live music. That's what I love, so I had to give that up. But the positives outweighed the negatives, right? Okay, so now let's talk about co-teaching. The only reason I'm talking about this is because some of my colleagues here, they've come to me and said, man, I got problems, I just need to talk to you about this. We all need to figure something out. I'm like, okay, let's talk about it. So remember, co-teaching, before I get into anything, what does co mean? Together. Yeah, with. Yeah, co-teaching, with. Now back in the U.S., I was a trainer for all the district where I come from. 30-something schools. Elementary, junior high. So I trained Arlington ISD, Arlington, Texas, independent school district for co-teaching. So, I've had a little experience in that capacity. It requires all teachers. So in the USA, all teachers are required to go through some sort of training before you even step into a classroom with another teacher. You have to have some idea of what's going on. You have to learn how to co-teach. You're not born a co-teacher. You cannot come up with this just out of thin air. You may think you can, but there's some training in there. There's some things, some important areas you need to cover in some training. So all teachers were required, and we gave it, as a trainer and another buddy of mine that co-taught, we both trained together, we gave explanations as why. And we gave examples. We showed them why this is better, right? So it all worked out. And the Great Teacher Van will cover more of this here in a little bit. And that's what her students called her too. Good morning, Great Teacher Van. Okay. Now, upon completion, all teachers had a good understanding of what co-teaching was about. Yeah. Now, I've heard many situations, like I said, and I'm just going to throw this out there. Suggestion. Training should be required to those who agree to co-teach in Taiwan. Any comments on that? Anyone want to share?
Want me to share?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I got
It would be really helpful if a co-teacher would talk to you before you arrive at class to tell you, I don't need you today, we have a test. Or take a break because I'm going to take them on a field trip. I spent hours putting together a lesson plan. I talked to her about it the week before, and then all of a sudden, I go back to my little desk and sit. So if we communicated, which I think I'm pretty good at communicating, but when I say I'm going to do this next week, and she doesn't say, oh no, we're having a field trip next week, or she never tells me until the morning of, is that really co-teaching? Is that really working together?
Okay, so you see that we have to work together, right? And maybe some teachers might not understand coaches. You know, I came here and I'm like, so flexible. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I will do whatever you want. I look at their perspective because I'm in Taiwan. I have to look at their perspective. That's why I'm here. I'm going to learn their culture. I'm going to look at your perspective. I'm going to be a good person, a team player. Thank you, team player. Great person. Okay, but when we come here, maybe there's we have a different perspective on co-teaching. I've been blessed at Wenhua Elementary. I've had great co-teachers, and they work with me so well. And I'm lucky because I've heard some other teachers have big problems, right? There are some times where we talk and we're like, you got to help me out. They don't understand what I'm saying. Just say, help me in. Just come in here. Just teach with me. Just let's do this together. I'll do this part. You do that part. And it works out so good. And the kids come out with just a greater understanding if you work together. Together. That means the American teacher gets up here and maybe does some explanation, but there's always a teacher, not an assistant. Nobody is an assistant. That's not what co means. Co is together. There's no assistant. Nobody is supposed to hand out papers all the time. We are teaching together. We're going to build our classes' knowledge this high. Right? Do you agree? Is there something you want to say? No? Okay. We will go on. So that's my thought on coach. I'm not complaining or anything. I'm just throwing that out there. Do you think that maybe that before we get to Taiwan, the teachers that we will be with maybe go through some sort of co-teaching training so that they will know?
maybe once we get here, there's still some lag time in like a week usually. I know there's first year people.
I know the first year people, there's usually, especially if you're MOE, there's that week of training you get in Taipei or whatever. But then there's usually some downtime when you get to here to Miaoli. Why not do a day or two of workshop? Is it going to happen? Probably not. But that would be a suggestion if you actually want a better working relationship and the co-teaching to actually work here. That's just coming from me, so we can get that, at least someone to show up and go through these things with them. This is what co-teaching is, a professional who knows what they're doing. Train before we get into that classroom with these people. Because it comes in like, oh, you're the great American teacher, you should show us how to do this. And there's also this, I don't know if it's a matter of face or whatever, there's that cultural boundary too, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, because maybe that's, somehow a bad thing, and maybe I shouldn't say anything. We need to get that taken care of before we even walk into the classroom together with the other people. It helped me in the U.S. when I co-taught with my special ed teacher. You know, at least that should be something. It's tea, yes, we can get together and have tea, but that's not expectations from each other. And what is co-teaching really? Okay, because there are many different types. I've seen Van's little PowerPoint. There's a lot of different types of co-teaching. Yeah, I know I talk too much.
That's a good idea. Maybe go together. When we get here in Taiwan, go meet together and spend like maybe half a day. Now, the problem is most of my co-teachers are part-time. So it may be a little hard, more difficult to get them in training, and I understand that. In a perfect world, yeah. Just throwing it out there. Yeah, something to consider. That's the Dallas Cowboys, by the way. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, now, something... Texas A&M football. Okay, a typical class begins as follows, and this happens every day where I am. Bell rings, class begins. Roughly 5 minutes passes by, the class shows up, you know. This is after about 5, sometimes 10 minutes, the class will show up. I've already lost 10 minutes of instruction time. That's okay. That's okay. I'm in Taiwan. All right, so I begin the day's lesson. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's go to lesson 4. What is the title? You know, and we'll start. Randomly, students venture in. They just come in on their own. They disrupt the class. The class stops listening to me. They're looking at the student coming in. Here comes the student. They're walking real slow. You know, they throw their pencil case down, and then they sit down. You know, I don't know. Maybe they were in trouble by their homeroom teacher. I don't know. But this happens every class period, every single class period, right? So I have to stop, and it delays my progress. They can enter of their own accord. They don't have to give me a slip saying where they were, who was with them, why they were there. Oh, that's crazy. It bothers me to no end. To no end it bothers me. I'm like, where were they? Why are they late to my class? You know? So I have a suggestion. Okay, so if late to my class, would it be a burdensome thing to have a written excuse telling me why they're late, where they were? Because sometimes I do see kids, you know, every now and then I'll look over at that little basketball playing area, and they're still kind of out there messing around, you know, when the bell rings. I'm like, okay, I know they're going to be late, you know. So maybe at least this will give me some, because maybe every time, maybe every class period, maybe every late student in my class has a good reason. I don't know. I have no idea, you know. But wouldn't it be nice if they were late and the homeroom teachers held them a little late? They're so, okay, give that to your teacher, you know, sign it. You know. I have a co-teacher. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, don't you think maybe a tardy system should be in place? This is what happens in America. If the student is late, we mark them down as it's called a tardy, right? They get a tardy. If they get 3 tardies, their parents get called, and they have to stay some time at lunch or after school. They get penalized for it. You be on class or to class on time, right? So now they're gaining a little bit of responsibility, a sense of responsibility at a young age. You know, elementary kids, you're giving them a deadline. They have to be there on time or there are consequences. So now they're learning responsibility. What's wrong with that? But, oh God, it bothers me really when they just come in, they're all slow and they don't care and they don't need an excuse. Oh God, that burns me up. But I deal with it because I'm in Taiwan. It's okay. I'm not an American. It's Taiwan. So that's, okay, so should a tardy system or something like that be implemented? Yeah.
Just want to share something. This happens at my school all the time too. And there are cases where, for a particular class, only half of the class showed up on time, and the other half will come in like 15 to 20 minutes late, halfway through the class. Why? Because they have to take care of the school's recycling system. And I asked, is there any way they can reschedule it so they don't miss out the content? Because usually the beginning of the class is very important. That's when you do your reviews, your instructions, and they miss everything, but apparently not. So we just have to deal with this, half the class coming in, half the period. And so it's very stressful. And you're right, like here, there's no tardy system. And I think one idea, this may help, is that here the students stop playing when the bell rings. When the bell rings, they're still playing. So they stop playing and get to class, go to the bathroom, put their stuff away, get their book, and then head to class. And by that time, it's already 5-10 minutes. So in the US, where I went to school, we usually have 2 bells. We have a warning bell, and then we have a tardy bell. So the warning bell is about 1 minute before. So at that time when the warning bell rings, it tells the kid, okay, it's time to stop, head back to your class, get things ready. And when the tardy bell rings, you should be sitting in class. So I think that helps a lot.
Thank you. That's a good idea. We also had a warning bell. The bell would ring 1 or 2 minutes before the tardy bell. When the tardy bell rings, those kids are supposed to be in their seat. If they are not in their seat, they get in trouble. You know? We got in high school I came from a high school, 3,000 students at a high school. So the hallways were very crowded, the hallways were very crowded. And they still had to get there, only 7 minutes. And we're talking at campus, way over there they had a class, and they got to get way over here. And that's 7 minutes, but they made it. They can get there. So, it can happen. Okay, thank you. Okay, now, something else I got issue with. Cowboys. Okay, the 6th graders, they know they're close to graduation, and they start playing around in my class. And everyone I talk to at at Winwall, they say, they know they're going to graduate. Well, that is not a free pass. I know they're going to graduate. I don't care if they're graduating in 15 minutes. They're in my class. That does not give them a free pass to start talking and being lazy. Oh, that burns me up to no end. Okay, it seems they're giving up on doing hard work. Taiwan's giving them a pass. You're going to graduate? Oh, it's okay. Take it easy. Oh, what is wrong with that? We're teaching the young kids that it's okay. If you almost complete, if you're almost near the completion of something, it's okay to be lazy. I disagree. I don't care what country you're from. America, Taiwan, Russia is not good. And the kids in the USA are the same way, aren't they? Right at the end, they get lazy. And I get in their face, and they know. They work hard till the end because they know Mr. Holster ain't putting up with it. All right. Okay, so why are they going to study for unit tests? I got tests I'm giving them, right? And my name's on that test. How they're going to do good in English. The principal is going to see the grades on how Teacher Thomas is teaching that class. And the 6th grader, the last test they took is low. And I asked them, where have you been this whole time? I know you've been in class. You're not listening, are you? Graduation's coming up. I get it, right? Tests were low. So yesterday, I got on them, and they're working harder now. I know graduation's coming up, but you don't get lazy in my class. Why are we teaching them that? That it's okay. No, that's wrong. That's so bad. So hold them accountable for their lack of effort and low worth ethic. Do not teach them at a young age to have a low worth ethic. Not good. Teach them responsibility and hold them back. If they don't do good on tests, what's wrong with holding them back? You're not going to the 7th grade. I don't know if this is a financial thing. I don't know. I don't care. I hate that to no end also. Hold them back. It's just a suggestion. You know, if they don't demonstrate learning, why send them to the next grade? They haven't demonstrated any learning. And you're sending them higher to the next grade, where learning is supposed to be more advanced. What's wrong with that? Anyway, just a suggestion.
Cowboys.
Cowboys. Cowboys. I think I'm out of time. So no comments on that one. Sorry. Thank you.